All right, so next up is no sunscreen is waterproof or sweat proof, which we talked about earlier. That's why we reapply our sunscreen every 2 hours or so if you're in direct sunlight, just to kind of keep everything nice and fresh. Okay. No children under 6 months should be using sunscreen because I don't think it's been tested on kids that young. So usually you try and keep them protected in other ways from direct sunlight. Other facts is sunscreen is only one tool in your UV safety protection toolbox. So other things that you can wear wide brim hat. I hope I didn't butcher that word, but I use both. I have the hat, I have the sunscreen, especially when you're doing chemical peels, which is like what I love to do. I always recommend that you wear hats or wear something to keep your skin protected in addition to wearing the sunscreen, because we don't want to take no chances there, you know what I mean? Let's keep on going. So let's talk about the teaspoon and shot glass rule. This is going to help you determine how much sunscreen to apply. Many people do not apply enough sunscreen. The teaspoon and shot glass rule recommend using 1 teaspoon of sunscreen to cover the face and neck, and enough sunscreen to fill a shot glass, approximately about 1 ounce, to cover all of the other exposed areas on the body, because most of the time we have more areas exposed than we realize, so we want to be sure that we're doing that. Does sunscreen expire? Absolutely. So check your sunscreen. Is it changing color? Does it have a change in the smell, in case you can't read the expiration date? Spray-on sunscreens are convenient, but not always as effective as the sunscreen that you apply to your skin physically. The sun can damage your sunscreen, so if you're leaving your sunscreen in the heat all day, every day, it does change the effectiveness of it. Physical sunscreen is made with minerals, and chemical sunscreen is made with UV filters. So that's the biggest thing. So for example, physical sunscreen works by blocking then reflecting UV rays away, and chemical sunscreen absorb them then release the UV rays from the skin. Physical sunscreen generally thicker and harder to blend, and while chemical sunscreen generally a lighter, non-sticky. White cast. Yes, physical sunscreen will leave that, but chemical sunscreen does not do that. Waiting time, for physical sunscreen usually works instantly, versus a chemical sunscreen you need to wait at least 30 minutes. What I say, 25 to 30 minutes. Reapply, yes, both of them, physical and chemical, you have to reapply. Skin type, if you're sensitive or rosacea type skin, then you might find that physical sunscreen works best for you, versus someone who has more oily skin may lean more towards chemical sunscreen. So again, chemical sunscreen is absorbed into the skin, converts UV rays into heat. It is thin and ideal for everyday use, and allows for skincare ingredients to be added easily, versus a physical sunscreen that sits on the skin, reflects UVA and UVB rays, and works immediately when applied. So which one is best for you? Ultimately, that is your decision to make, which sunscreen is best for you. I am using, again, a chemical sunscreen. Again, it absorbs into the skin, as I just showed you recently. All right, so what we want to do is we have our sunscreen, right? And then we have our moisturizer. We work it into the palm of our hands like so to warm it all up. Whether you're using a physical sunscreen, a chemical sunscreen, I always like to warm it up in my hands first before I apply it to my skin. Again, for easier application, I like to start by mixing it into the palm of my hands. So I do this here. So I massage it into the hand, and then I just work it on my body. As you can see, it goes on, but it doesn't leave me super ashy. And then I also want to wait about 30 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes, to allow the product to fully absorb into the skin, and always make sure that I am covering the areas that are exposed to the sun, which include face. Again, I always have to pat first, and then I work it in everywhere. Make sure I get my eyelids, around the nose, around the mouth, everywhere. And that, my friend, is, I believe, everything that I wanted to share with you in terms of sunscreen. I hope you learned at least one thing with today's video. My goal was, again, is just to share information to make sure that you are a knowledgeable consumer. You're going in with the right knowledge, not just based on a specific product, but just as an overall example. Again, sunscreen is something that I use during the daytime. I mix it in with my moisturizer. Of course, at nighttime I don't use sunscreen because we're in the house. We're not going outside into the sun at night, so you don't need sunscreen. But in the morning, I usually recommend it. But ultimately, it is your decision. I've had a client come in and tell me that she refused to wear sunscreen because she worked at the dermatologist's office, and everyone that came in told her that they were using sunscreen religiously and they still got sunburn. But from my experience, from talking to people as well, I know that's not always true, because a lot of people, when you ask them something, they will tell you one thing, but what they actually do at home is completely different. Come on, people do that even with the doctor. The doctors ask you, oh, have you been doing X, Y, and Z? And you're like, oh yeah, I've been doing X, Y, and Z. I've been really consistent. I've been really doing my thing with it. When in reality, if we're being honest about it, the person didn't even do half of the stuff that they said that they were going to do, or that they weren't consistent with it, but they say that they are. So I don't always take it in word value, like someone telling me, oh yeah, I did this religiously. Now, some people, it may be truthful for them that they use it religiously, but I just found that over the years that many people that say that they are really aren't doing it like they say that they are. So take everything with a grain of salt is where I'm trying to go with that one. But yes, some people do believe that if you're wearing sunscreen all the time, that it's going to cause you to have cancer, like skin cancer. And again, you can do your research about the one that I shared with you earlier, the company. I just read it a few times somewhere or two. I will try and link it under this video if I remember. If I can find them, I will try and link them below. But again, you have a phone in your hand. You have a phone, you have a device. You can go and Google yourself, do your own research. You don't even have to use my sunscreen. You can use any sunscreen of your choice. The key though is find what works for you, stick with it. So do your research though, find something that works and just be consistent with it. But I do recommend it, but ultimately it is your decision. It is your skin. Your skin is your best asset. It is the thing that most people see when they first look at you. So you make sure you're taking good care of your skin always. All right, so just hang out with me. I have more coming. I have more coming. I have more coming. Remember to rate, comment, like, and subscribe. Text me if you have any question. 813-592-7987. 813-592-7987. So text me. Join the Clear Skin Challenge. It's luxurylotusspa.com/clearskin. Or you just visit Clear Skin Challenge or luxurylotusspa.com/challenge. They will all take you to the same page, my friend. I wanted to make it as convenient as possible for you. And thank you again for following me along this journey. I look forward to seeing you very soon. Until next time, Esther the Esthetician here, signing out. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. Hey!